This is blowing my mind right now. Content is an actual cheat code for your business in 2025. And let me explain what I mean by this. My whole business right now, I'm helping local businesses market, I'm helping them with paid advertising on social media, and I'm helping them build a brand with high quality video content on social media. And the way that I started doing this, which I don't think I've talked about this openly since I started this about a year ago, is just through doing that exact thing for myself. So I created a personal brand, just showing myself on camera, talking about the things I was learning when it comes to marketing and social media advertising, just everything about those topics I was creating video content about with myself in it. So I was getting on camera, I was talking to the camera and just giving this information and sharing everything that I was learning at that time. And in combination with that video content, I started running local Instagram ads that are just showing in my area right here in Wilmington. So I went on the Facebook Ads Manager. If any of you are familiar with that, I set my targeting to just a 20-mile radius within Wilmington, and I started running ads. So I was starting to let people know about what I was doing. I was putting those ads out there so that people could find my page and then ultimately find the rest of my content and then start consuming that to just see everything that I was doing. And just through those simple things, creating some video content to have on my page and then creating a video ad and starting to promote that and advertise that in the local area, I started to get a couple clients. I got a couple people that were interested. We would schedule a call together. We would get on that call, talk about what it is that they needed help with. And then assuming it was a good fit, we started to work together. And that's kind of how I started growing the business, was just through getting these people, finding my ads, finding the rest of my content, and then we would end up working together. But what's cool is that this has continued to evolve over the course of that past year, to where not only have I been able to continue to create content and just continue building that brand online, but all the other clients that I've been able to help are doing similar things. They're starting to create content, they're getting on camera, and what they're finding is that people are reaching out to them. And not only that, but the people that reach out to them are starting to say that they recognize them. They've seen them before. They know about their business. And I find that so powerful, because I cannot tell you how many times now, even today, that I've had introductions or I've had referrals or I've just had people out in public in my day-to-day life that are like, hey, Wilmington business owners, like, you're that guy. Just the power of that is still so mind-blowing to me. Like, if you know what I'm talking about when I say Wilmington business owners, hopefully you have seen that ad before, and that's the reason you're seeing this video now, because that is just, it's so powerful to me if you think about that. If your reputation precedes you, you don't even have to say anything whenever you show up in front of potential prospects, connections, just anybody in general. It's so powerful when you already have a foot in the door. Like, it's automatically starting with like a leg up. So you don't have to go out of your way to introduce yourself to someone who maybe isn't interested or wouldn't be a good fit with you. You don't really have to go through that process. Because this is another point about the content that I've learned, is that by putting yourself into the content, which a lot of people try to avoid, and maybe they just aren't comfortable with it or they don't know how to do it or what to say. So I can understand that. But what's crazy is that when you actually do that and commit to it, what you'll find is that the people who resonate with you as a person and like who you are as a person just from seeing you in your content, those people are going to reach out to you. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be a month from now, but those people are watching. And I've seen firsthand examples of this, not even for myself, but for other clients as well. And they've told me that they've had people reach out to them and they will schedule a call together to work with their business and become a client of that business. And they'll say they've been watching their content for like months, for weeks, like just for extended periods of time. And then that client will go and look up who this person is, and they don't even follow them. They're not even subscribed to them on any of like YouTube channels or any other social media platforms. They don't like any of the posts. They don't comment. There's no way to even know that they were watching that content. But then when they talk to that person in person, they openly tell them like, yeah, I love your stuff. Like, I've been watching it for months. And it just speaks to the power of what is happening when you're creating this content and how much leverage you have when you create this content, because a lot of the content is created, all of the content is created one time. So you create the content just like this. I sit down, I shoot this video, I go post it on social media. It lives there forever. So at any point in time, somebody can go on to YouTube or Instagram or wherever this video ends up, and they can find it and they consume it. And if there's valuable information in here that I'm sharing, they can learn from that at any point in time. And what's great about that is that people can just learn on their own time. Like, I could send this video to someone and ask them to watch it, but if they aren't interested, they could come back to it in a month from now and then watch it and still get the value that's within it, which is just another mind-blowing part of this to me. But the whole point of this video is just to kind of talk about, I don't think I've openly talked about my services, like what I do, how I'm helping other business owners kind of do the same thing now. So just to kind of air that out, it's pretty much, what's the best way to say this? It's pretty much, I always tell people like, yeah, we script, we film, we edit video content, but it's a lot more than that. And the easiest way for me to put it is really the entire strategy when it comes to marketing, when it comes to building trust with somebody, when it comes to building a brand that's going to live on for years to come versus just a one-time video shoot. Those are all the things that kind of come to my mind and how I envision this, because again, this is kind of a long-term thing. Like, if you start to build this brand now in 2025, you're still pretty early to the game. Whereas even locally, if you look around at the marketplace, more and more people are starting to catch on to the advertising, right? To the local ads that you can run on just people's phones that are here locally in the area. And they're catching on to the content as well. But as this is happening, I'm noticing a lot of, I don't want to say problems, but maybe just mistakes. And I think it just is from people probably just being uninformed, probably because this is such a new thing. People are trying different things and trying to figure out what works for them. So honestly, I can only speak on what has worked for me and what I've found to be working now in real time, because that's where my day-to-day is spent, is doing these things, like trying to keep a pulse on the marketplace, see what is working now, what isn't. And that's a lot of what I'm doing too, is just testing things when it comes to the content, when it comes to videos, when it comes to scripting things or just talking authentically. It's all kind of testing and figuring out how things are evolving, because this is a constantly changing thing. But what's cool about that is the principles. The principles is really the one thing that has changed everything when it's come to my content, to my marketing, to helping other local businesses market as well, is because the principles are timeless. So it doesn't matter if the social media algorithms change or the platforms change, or if any of those external things change. It doesn't matter as long as you understand the principles behind what you're doing. And for example, when it comes to marketing, the three key principles that I can think of are attention, interest, and conversion. This is like the classic funnel that everybody talks about. If you aren't familiar with this, just go Google marketing funnel, and those three things should show up. And these are timeless principles, right? So whether you apply those principles to today in 2025, which would be like Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, like all these different social media platforms up today, you can get results when it comes to marketing. And if you apply those same principles to the 1800s, before there are phones or there are social media or anything like that, you can still get results when it comes to marketing, because the principles are timeless. We're just taking the principles of marketing that are proven to work and then applying them to the modern day. That's really it. We're just applying it to right now. Like, where is the attention right now? In the 1800s, maybe it was on the farm where people were living their lives and they didn't have phones yet. So their attention was where they actually were. But in 2025, attention is right here. It's where everybody is. They're on their phones, they're scrolling. We're all guilty of this. I do it myself, not just because it's my job to be on top of these things, because it's a source of information for me. Like, I learn a lot from social media as well. So I'm not talking bad about it, but that's just the reality of the current day landscape, is that in 2025, people are on their phones, they're on social media. That's where the attention is. So as somebody who has a business and who wants to market that business and get more clients coming to them, how can I use that to my benefit? Well, if I know how to capture attention, if I know how to get attention from people that are in my local area, because that's who I can service, if I can show up on their phone and get their attention, I'll be able to market to them, right? I'll be able to sell to them, and I'll be able to see if they need help with the problems that I can actually solve with my services. That's the whole basis of it. So attention is the main thing, being able to get that attention. That's honestly the easy part if you think about it, because anybody can go on their phone, they can boost a post, they can set up an ad, and they can get attention on what it is that they're doing. But where the skill comes into this is the next step down, which is getting that interest. So anybody can get attention, right? They can get people to find them, but how do you actually get somebody interested in what it is that you do? Well, this is something we can go into more depth later on in a separate video. But when it comes to marketing, the most basic way to do this is to talk about a pain point or talk about a problem or a frustration that the ideal person that you would want to work with has right now. Because if you start talking about these problems that people are experiencing, that's what is going to get them interested. That's going to get their attention, get them to stop scrolling. And then once they stop scrolling, they're going to say, oh, wow, like, yeah, I do have that problem. Or I do need help getting a new fireplace installed, or I do need help getting my chimney swept out, or whatever the service is that you provide as a business. Just start creating content about the problem that you solve. And what you'll find is you will end up with a group of people who are now listening to what you're saying because you're talking about the problems that they have in real time. And the last part of that was the conversions. That kind of takes care of itself, because once you're able to get people's attention, you're able to see the ones that are interested. Then from there, the natural progression is then a conversion. That's basic marketing.